Caleb Mitchell, a 34-year-old mechanic with a heart as steady as the engines he fixed, had been planning something special for weeks. His wife, Samantha Pierce, 32, was the love of his life. High school sweethearts who'd weathered college breakups, late-night fights, and the grind of building a life in Cedar Falls, Iowa. Their 8th wedding anniversary was coming up, and Caleb wanted to make it unforgettable. Samantha had been distant lately, her smiles rarer, her eyes often fixed on her phone. He chalked it up to stress. She'd been working overtime at the hospital as a nurse, and her new friend group, led by her cousin Tara, seemed to pull her into a world of brunches and weekend getaways that felt foreign to their modest life. Still, Caleb believed in them. He'd always believed in them. The anniversary fell on a Thursday, but Samantha had mentioned spending the weekend with Tara in Des Moines, a 3-hour drive away, for a girls' trip to celebrate. Caleb played along, saying he'd be stuck at the garage fixing a rush job for a client. It was a lie. He'd taken Friday off, coordinated with his boss, and planned to surprise Samantha at Tara's apartment with a handmade cedar box he'd carved himself, engraved with "Forever Ours," filled with her favorite chocolates, and a letter recalling their first date. He'd even reserved a table at a rooftop restaurant in Des Moines, a place far fancier than their usual diner dates. Thursday night, the weather turned ugly. A late spring storm swept across Iowa, bringing sleet and freezing rain that glazed the roads in ice. The news warned of hazardous conditions, urging drivers to stay home. Caleb didn't care. He'd driven through worse, and the thought of Samantha's face, her eyes lighting up like they used to, kept him going. He loaded the cedar box, a thermos of coffee, and a playlist of their old songs into his pickup truck, and hit the road at 5 a.m. Friday. What should have been a 3-hour drive stretched into a 5-hour ordeal. Ice crusted his windshield, forcing him to stop twice to scrape it off. The highway was a mess. 2 cars spun out in ditches, their hazard lights flashing like ghosts in the gray dawn. His hands ached from gripping the wheel, but he kept going, fueled by love and stubbornness. By 10 a.m., he reached Tara's apartment complex in a gritty corner of Des Moines. The parking lot was a sheet of ice, so he parked on the street, grabbed the cedar box, and trudged through slush that soaked his boots. His breath fogged in the air as he approached Tara's door, his heart pounding with anticipation. The door was slightly ajar, letting out warmth and the sound of voices, Samantha's sharp and bitter, mixed with Tara's low chuckle. Caleb paused, about to knock, when he heard his name. "Caleb's probably still at the garage, elbow-deep in grease," Samantha said, her voice dripping with disdain. "He texted last night saying he's swamped. Thank God. I need a break from his clingy ass." Caleb froze, the box heavy in his hands. Tara laughed. "Good. You deserve a weekend without him dragging you down. He's so predictable." Samantha snorted. "Predictable. Try suffocating. Always going on about our future like we're stuck in some 1950s sitcom. I swear, if he showed up here, I'd lose it." Caleb's stomach twisted, but he stayed silent, hoping it was just venting. Then Samantha's voice turned colder. "You know what'd be easier? If his damn truck slid off the road in this storm. The life insurance would set me up nice." Tara didn't miss a beat. "Hell, even a broken leg would keep him out of your hair for a while." They both laughed, sharp, cruel, like they'd rehearsed it. The world tilted. Caleb's chest burned, not with anger but with a hollow ache, as if someone had carved out his heart. The box slipped from his hands, hitting the ground with a thud. The laughter stopped. Footsteps approached. Samantha appeared in the doorway, her face paling as she saw him. "Caleb! Oh my God, how?" Tara stood behind her, eyes wide. Caleb didn't speak. He bent down, picked up the box, and placed it just inside the door. Without a word, he turned and walked back into the sleet, ignoring Samantha's calls. He climbed into his truck, sat there for 10 minutes, staring at the ice on his windshield, her words looping in his head. If his truck slid off the road, life insurance would set me up nice. His phone buzzed, texts, calls, but he shut it off. The man who'd driven 5 hours for love was gone. In his place was someone new, someone who'd just heard his wife wish him dead. The sleet had stopped, But the cold clung to Caleb's bones as he drove away from Tara's apartment, the cedar box's thud still echoing in his mind. He didn't head home to Cedar Falls. Instead, he pointed his truck toward a cheap motel off I-80, its neon sign flickering vacancy like a bad omen. His phone, now on, buzzed relentlessly. 12 missed calls from Samantha, 19 texts piling up like debris. He didn't read them. Her voice, sharp and cruel, looped in his head. If his truck slid off, life insurance would set me up nice. Each word was a blade, carving deeper into the man he'd been. An hour ago, a husband. Now, a stranger to his own life. He checked into the motel, paid $65 for a room that reeked of stale beer, and sat on the sagging bed, staring at the peeling wallpaper. The silence was deafening, but he embraced it. Silence would be his weapon. By midnight, the calls hit 25, texts 42. Samantha's desperation was palpable even through the black screen. Caleb powered the phone off again, not out of anger but calculation. He wasn't ready to hear her excuses, her tears, her lies. He needed clarity, and clarity came in solitude. He pulled out a notebook from his glove box, a habit from his mechanic days for tracking parts, and started writing. Not a plan, not yet, just fragments of betrayal. Life insurance, laughing, clingy ass. Each phrase grounded him, a reminder that what he'd heard was real. He slept fitfully, waking every hour to the hum of the motel's heater, Samantha's laughter haunting his dreams. Morning came, gray and heavy. Caleb drove to a diner across the street, ordered black coffee, and finally glanced at his phone. Samantha's texts followed a predictable arc. Shock. Caleb, where are you? Please answer. Deflection. It wasn't what you think, I was drunk. Anger. You can't just walk out like this. And manipulation. I'm scared, please, I love you. Not one apology felt real. He scrolled past voicemails, 9, her voice probably cracking with rehearsed panic, and deleted them unlistened. His thumb hovered over Tara's single text. She didn't mean it, Caleb. Call her. He blocked her number without reply. Back in his truck, Caleb made decisions. He texted his best friend Derek, a welder who'd known him since high school. Need a place to crash. Shit hit the fan with Sam. Don't ask. Derek replied instantly. Couch is yours. Fridge is stocked. Say when. Caleb didn't say when. Not yet. He drove to a bank branch in Des Moines, one he, and Samantha rarely used, and opened a new account in his name only. He transferred half their joint savings, $12,000, enough for a few months of breathing room, leaving the rest for her. It wasn't spite, it was survival. He froze their joint credit cards, citing suspicious activity to the teller, and requested new ones sent to Derek's address. Every step was methodical, like rebuilding an engine, one part at a time, no rush, no mistakes. By noon he was back on the road, not to Cedar Falls but to Derek's place in Waterloo, a 90-minute drive. The highway stretched empty, the storm's aftermath leaving fields glazed in ice. Caleb's mind churned. Samantha's words weren't a one-off. They were the culmination of months, maybe years, of resentment. He remembered her recent jabs. When are you getting a real job? At a barbecue. Her eye rolls when he talked about saving for a bigger house. Her obsession with Tara's flashy friends who posted yacht photos from nowhere jobs. He'd ignored the signs, blaming her long shifts, but now they glowed like warning lights on a dashboard. At Derek's, Caleb dropped his duffel bag in the spare room, a cluttered space with a futon and welding manuals stacked in corners. Derek handed him a beer, no questions, just a nod that said, I've got you. Caleb didn't tell the story. He didn't need to. The weight in his eyes was enough. That night, he logged into their shared accounts from Derek's laptop. Their Netflix was active. Samantha was watching some reality show about rich housewives. He changed the password, locking her out. He did the same for their Hulu, Spotify, and cloud storage where they kept tax docs. Small cuts, each one severing a thread of their life together. He emailed his boss, requesting a week of remote work for a family emergency. Approved within an hour. Samantha's calls didn't stop. By day 2, she'd switched to unknown numbers, likely Tara's phone or a friend's. Caleb blocked each one. A voicemail slipped through before he could. "Caleb, I'm begging you, talk to me. I didn't mean it. I was stupid. Please come home." Her voice trembled, but it lacked the rawness of true regret. He deleted it, but not before saving a copy to a USB drive. Evidence, maybe, or a reminder of why he was doing this. On day 3, she showed up at his garage, according to a text from his coworker Mike. "Your wife's here, man. Looks rough. Said it's urgent." Caleb replied, "Tell her I'm out of town. Don't say where." Mike didn't push. Social media was next. Samantha posted a cryptic story on Instagram. A black screen with white text. "Some things you say in anger you can't take back." Likes poured in from Tara and her crew. Caleb didn't comment. Instead, he unfollowed her, set his profiles to private, and posted a single photo. The diner's coffee cup, steam rising, no caption. Friends texted, confused, "You okay, man?" He didn't reply. Let her wonder. Let them all wonder. By day 5, Caleb learned more. A buddy at the bank mentioned Samantha had tried to access their joint account, only to find half gone. She'd argued with the teller, claiming fraud, but left empty-handed. Caleb felt no guilt. She'd wanted life insurance money. Let her figure out life without his. He called his insurance agent, quietly asking about their $600,000 policy. "Can I change the beneficiary?" he asked. "Yeah, but it needs paperwork," the agent said. Caleb requested the forms. Not today, but soon. Samantha's desperation grew. On day 6, she emailed, a medium she rarely used. "Caleb, I know I messed up. I was drunk, angry, stupid. I don't want you gone. I need you. Please, let's fix this." The words were polished, like she'd rehearsed them. Caleb saved the email but didn't respond. He wasn't ready to face her, not when her laughter still echoed, not when he could still feel the sleet on his face as he walked away. Derek caught him staring at the notebook one night, now filled with dates, times, and phrases. Suffocating, life insurance, laughing. Derek didn't pry, just said, "Whatever you're planning, make it count." Caleb wasn't planning revenge. Not exactly. He was dismantling the life they'd built, piece by piece, to see what was left. He didn't know if he'd ever speak to Samantha again, but he knew one thing. She'd feel his absence, not just in their home, but in every corner of her world. The hollow ache in his chest hadn't faded, but it was sharpening into something else. Resolve. He wasn't the clingy husband she'd mocked. He was Caleb Mitchell, and he was done being her fool. Caleb sat at Derek's dining table, a half-empty beer in hand, the notebook from the motel now open to a new page. It was day 7 since he'd walked away from Tara's apartment. Samantha's words, "If his truck slid off, life insurance would set me up nice." Still a raw wound. His silence had worked. Samantha's calls had slowed to a trickle. Her last email a polished plea he'd ignored. But silence wasn't enough anymore. He needed answers, not just about her heart, but her actions. The jabs about his dead-end job and their basic life had stung. But what if they hid something bigger? Caleb wasn't a detective, but he was a mechanic. He knew how to take things apart to find the fault. Today, he'd start with their money. Derek was at work, leaving Caleb alone with his laptop and a gnawing suspicion. He logged into their joint checking account, something he rarely checked since Samantha handled bills. The balance was lower than expected, $4,200, down from $7,000 a month ago. He scrolled through transactions, his jaw tightening. Caleb called their bank, posing as a confused husband needing account clarification. The teller, a chatty woman named Linda, revealed a bombshell. Samantha had opened a separate credit card in her name 18 months ago, linked to their joint account for payments. The balance? $9,500, mostly from outlet mall purchases and hotel stays in Chicago, none of which Caleb remembered. Linda hesitated, then added, "There's also a wire transfer, sir. $5,000 to an account in the Caymans, 3 months ago. It's flagged for review." Caleb's blood ran cold. A Cayman account? Samantha, the nurse who complained about their starter home, was hiding money offshore? He thanked Linda, hung up, and wrote in his notebook, $15K cash, $9.5K card, $5K Caymans. He wasn't done. Caleb dug into their PayPal, linked to Samantha's email, and found recurring payments to a consultant named Jay Harper, $300 monthly for personal coaching. A quick Google search revealed Jay Harper was a lifestyle guru Tara followed, whose Instagram was a parade of private jets and affirmations. Samantha had paid $7,200 over 2 years to this fraud while mocking Caleb as $50 gym membership. He checked her Venmo next, public by default, and saw payments to a guy named Ryan, $150 for dinner, $80 for drinks, with flirty emojis. Ryan's profile showed him at Tara's parties, arm around Samantha in one photo. Caleb's stomach churned, but he saved screenshots, his hands shaking. By afternoon, Caleb needed air. He drove to a park near Derek's, the Iowa wind sharp against his face, and called a financial advisor, Paul, recommended by Derek's dad. Paul agreed to meet at a coffee shop in Waterloo, a no-nonsense guy in flannel who listened as Caleb laid out the numbers. "This isn't just spending," Paul said, scanning the screenshots. "It's a pattern. The offshore account's a red flag, could be tax evasion, could be worse. You need to protect yourself." Paul drafted a letter, sent via courier to Samantha's hospital, stating Caleb would no longer cover her debts as of that day. He also advised freezing the joint account entirely, transferring the $4,200 to Caleb's new account, and notifying the bank of potential fraud on the Cayman transfer. Caleb signed off, his signature steady but his heart racing. Back at Derek's, Caleb took it further. He canceled their joint phone plan, switching to a new number, and redirected his mail to a P.O. box in Waterloo. He emailed their landlord, confirming he had cover half the rent for now, but wanted his name off the lease by month's end. Each action was a brick in a wall between him and Samantha. That evening, Derek came home, saw Caleb's laptop covered in bank tabs, and whistled. "You're going full CIA, huh?" Caleb didn't laugh. "She's been lying for years," he said, voice low. Derek nodded, tossing him another beer. "Then keep digging." Samantha felt the first blow that night. A co-worker texted Caleb. Samantha had stormed out of the hospital after receiving Paul's letter, cursing about misunderstandings. She tried logging into their Netflix, only to find herself locked out. Her Venmo payments bounced when she tried buying coffee, the account linked to the frozen card. By day 8, she posted on Facebook, "When your world flips upside down, you see who's really there." Tara commented, "You're strong, girl. He's overreacting." Caleb saw it via a friend's screenshot. He didn't respond, but he posted a cryptic reply on his private Instagram, a photo of his notebook page, blurred but legible enough to show 5K Caymans. Mutual friends messaged, curious, but he stayed silent. On day 9, Caleb got a call from Linda at the bank. Samantha had tried withdrawing the $4,200 before the freeze, claiming Caleb had stolen it. The bank denied her, citing his fraud report. Linda whispered, "She was crying, saying she needs it for debts. Watch your back, hun." Caleb thanked her, then contacted Paul again. They filed a formal fraud inquiry on the Cayman transfer, which could trigger an IRS audit if Samantha couldn't explain it. He didn't want to ruin her, but he wanted her to feel the weight of her lies. That night, Samantha emailed again, this time frantic. "Caleb, why are you doing this? I know I screwed up, but freezing accounts, threatening fraud, I'm drowning. Talk to me, please. I'll explain everything." Caleb read it twice, searching for remorse. There was none, just fear of consequences. He saved the email, adding it to his USB. In his notebook, he wrote, "She's drowning. Good. Not out of cruelty, but because the woman who'd laughed about his death deserved to face her own wreckage." The hollow ache in his chest was now a fire, not of rage but purpose. He wasn't just surviving her betrayal, he was rewriting the rules of their game. Day 10 dawned with a brittle clarity, the Iowa sky a pale blue that belied the storm in Caleb's chest. After uncovering Samantha's financial lies, $15,000 in cash withdrawals, a $9,500 secret credit card, and a $5,000 Cayman account, he knew staying at Derek's wasn't enough. He had to reclaim what was his, not just money but his identity, from the life they'd built in Cedar Falls. Samantha's laughter. If his truck slid off, life insurance would set me up nice. And her flirty Venmo payments to Ryan burned in his mind, fueling a quiet resolve. Today, he'd return to their 2-bedroom rental, take his belongings, and erase his presence, not out of spite, but to make her feel the void she'd wished for. Caleb waited until noon, when Samantha's hospital shift started, confirmed by a co-worker's text. "She's here, man. Looks like hell." He drove the 30 minutes from Waterloo to Cedar Falls, the familiar streets now alien. Their house, a beige split level with a sagging porch, felt like a stranger's. He parked a block away, avoiding their Ring camera, and let himself in with his key. The air inside was stale, dishes piled in the sink, a half-empty wine bottle on the counter. Samantha's chaos was everywhere. Her scrubs tossed on the couch, a new designer purse on the table, probably paid for with the miscellaneous $8,000 from last year. Caleb's notebook tucked in his jacket felt heavier with every step. He started in the bedroom, methodically packing his clothes into 2 duffel bags, jeans, flannels, the leather jacket his dad gave him before passing. He took his toolbox, a $2,000 investment from his first mechanic job, and the vinyl records he'd collected since high school, including a rare Springsteen pressing Samantha had mocked as old junk. From the closet, he retrieved a locked safe containing his grandfather's pocket watch and their wedding photos on a USB drive, not for sentiment, but to keep what was his. He left her clothes, their shared comforter, even the dresser they'd bought together at IKEA. This wasn't about destruction, it was about detachment. In the living room, Caleb paused. The couch they'd bickered over at a flea market, the TV they'd watched Sunday football on, those could stay. But his gaming console, a gift from Derek, went into a box, along with his coffee maker, which Samantha never used. He unplugged the Wi-Fi router, resetting it to factory settings, and set a new password: Life Insurance Dreams 2025. A petty jab, but it felt right. He adjusted the thermostat to 55 degrees, cold enough to annoy her without breaking anything, and unscrewed the light bulb in the fridge, knowing she'd curse when grabbing her late-night wine. Each act was a cut, severing the life where he'd been clingy and suffocating. Then he found it, a men's jacket not his, draped over a dining chair. Black leather, expensive, with a faint cologne that wasn't Caleb's. Inside the pocket was a receipt from a Des Moines dive bar, dated 2 weeks ago for 2 whiskeys and a $20 tip signed Ryan. Caleb's blood surged, the same Ryan from the Venmo payments, $150 dinner, flirty emojis. He didn't take the jacket but photographed it, the receipt, and its place in their home, adding them to his USB. The discovery wasn't just a betrayal. It was proof Samantha's lies ran deeper than money. He wrote in his notebook, Ryan's jacket, bar receipt, her house now. Before leaving, Caleb made one last sweep. He took his toolbox to the garage, where his old mountain bike hung on the wall. He loaded it onto his truck, along with a crate of motor oil he'd bought for work. The garage door's keypad, which Samantha used daily, got a new code. Set me up nice. He left her car keys on the counter but disconnected the battery in her sedan, a 5-minute job that'd leave her stranded until she figured it out. He wasn't cruel enough to slash tires, but he wanted her to feel his absence in every inconvenience. As he locked the front door, a neighbor, Mrs. Carter, waved from her porch. "Everything okay, Caleb? Saw Sam crying yesterday." Caleb forced a smile. "Just grabbing some stuff. Work's keeping me busy." Mrs. Carter nodded, unconvinced. He drove away, the duffels and boxes rattling in the truck bed, and stopped at a storage unit in Waterloo to unload everything but his clothes. The unit's lock clicked shut, a sound of finality. Back at Derek's, he listed the bike on Craigslist for $200, not because he needed cash, but to shed another piece of their past. That night, Samantha came home to a house that wasn't theirs anymore. The Wi-Fi wouldn't connect. The fridge was dark. The garage keypad flashed an error. A text from Mrs. Carter to Caleb confirmed it. "Sam's pissed. Said the house feels wrong. Asked where you are." Caleb didn't reply. Samantha's next email arrived at 1 a.m. Caleb, what the hell? My car won't start, the Wi-Fi's dead and your stuff's gone. Are you trying to ruin me? Please, let's talk. No remorse, just accusation. He saved it to the USB, adding a note in his notebook. She felt it. Good. Derek caught him staring at the Ryan receipt photo. That's not yours, is it? He asked. Caleb shook his head. Hers. Some guy named Ryan. Derek's jaw tightened. You gonna do something about it? Caleb didn't answer. He wasn't sure what came next. Confrontation, divorce, or something sharper. But the fire in his chest, kindled by Samantha's laughter and lies, burned brighter. He'd taken back his things, his space, his power. The house was hers now, but it'd never feel like home again. He posted one last Instagram story, a shot of his truck's empty bed captioned, "Moving light." Friends messaged, worried. Tara liked Samantha's latest pity post. Caleb stayed silent, his notebook open, ready for the next move. The morning of day 11 broke with a deceptive calm, the Waterloo air crisp as Caleb sipped coffee at Derek's kitchen counter. His notebook, now a chronicle of betrayal, Life Insurance Dreams 2025, Ryan's jacket, 5K Tala Caymans, lay closed beside him. Samantha's email from 1 a.m. "Are you trying to ruin me?" lingered in his mind, not for its plea, but its audacity. She'd laughed about his death, hidden debts, flirted with Ryan, and now played victim. Caleb's silence, his weapon since driving away from Tara's apartment, was no longer just protection. It was a mirror, reflecting her lies back at her. He'd taken his things, frozen her accounts, and left her a house that felt wrong. Today, he'd let her drown in the consequences, his resolve a steady flame. Samantha's world was cracking. At the hospital, her co-workers noticed her unraveling. A nurse friend, Jenny, texted Caleb through Derek. "Sam's a mess. Snapped at a patient, got a warning from her boss, keeps checking her phone." Caleb didn't reply, but saved the message to his USB, another piece of evidence. The letter from Paul, the financial advisor, had hit hard. Samantha's credit card payments bounced, her Venmo was useless, and the bank's fraud inquiry on the $5,000 Cayman transfer loomed like a guillotine. She'd tried calling the bank, according to Linda's update. She begged to reverse the freeze, said she's got debts to settle, sounded scared. Caleb wrote in his notebook, "Hospital warning, bank panic, debts." Her social life was no better. Tara, her loudest cheerleader, posted a selfie with Samantha on Instagram, captioned, "Ride or die, always." But the comments were sparse. Mutual friends, once quick to like, stayed silent. Caleb's cryptic posts, truck bed, moving light, had sparked whispers. A high school buddy, Mark, messaged Caleb, "People are talking. Sam's telling everyone you abandoned her. What's going on?" Caleb left it unread. Samantha's Facebook rants grew desperate. "You think you know someone, then they flip your life upside down." Tara commented, "He's not worth your tears." But a co-worker, Lisa, replied, "Girl, what did you do?" The crack in her narrative was widening, and Caleb hadn't said a word. By day 12, the hospital gossip intensified. Jenny texted again. "Sam's on thin ice. Missed a shift yesterday. Blamed a car issue. Boss is pissed." Caleb knew the car issue, her sedan's battery, disconnected by him, still sat untouched. He'd checked their Ring camera app, which Samantha hadn't locked him out of, and saw her fumbling with the hood at 6 a.m., cursing. She'd called Tara, who picked her up, but no mechanic had come. The Wi-Fi, Life Insurance Dreams 2025, and garage code, Set Me Up Nice, remained unchanged, small thorns in her daily life. Caleb didn't gloat. He just watched, his silence louder than any argument. Then came the twist. On day 13, Caleb got a Zelle notification, $200 from Ryan, the guy with the bar receipt and Venmo emojis, with a note, "For Sam's car, tell her I'm done." Caleb's jaw tightened. Ryan, her supposed ally, was bailing. He screenshot the payment, added it to his USB and wrote, "Ryan paid $200. Done with her." A quick check of Ryan's Instagram showed no recent posts with Samantha, just a story from a dive bar with a new woman. Caleb didn't know the full story, affair, fling, or scam. But Ryan's exit was another blow to Samantha's crumbling world. He didn't send the $200 back. Let her think Ryan cared enough to help. Samantha's desperation peaked that night. She emailed Caleb, her tone rawer than before. "Caleb, I can't do this. The bank's after me. Work's a nightmare. I'm losing everything. I know I hurt you. I was wrong. Please just call me. I'll tell you everything. Ryan, the money, all of it." Caleb read it 3 times, searching for truth. There was a flicker. "I know I hurt you," but it drowned in self-pity. He saved the email, noting in his notebook, "She's breaking. Still no sorry." He didn't reply. Her confession, if it came, would be on his terms, not her panic. Derek, flipping through TV channels, noticed Caleb's focus on the laptop. The ring footage paused on Samantha's car struggle. "She's falling apart, huh?" he said. Caleb nodded. "Her choice, not mine." Derek leaned back. "You're scary calm, man. What's the end game?" Caleb didn't answer. He wasn't sure. Divorce, exposure, or something colder. But every email, every text, every screenshot built a case. Not just for him, but for the life he'd rebuild without her. By day 14, Samantha's facade collapsed further. Jenny texted, "She's on leave. HR cited personal issues. Tara's with her 24/7 now. The hospital's patients had run out, and her debts were closing in." Caleb checked the bank app. Samantha had tried transferring $500 from their frozen savings, flagged, and denied. Linda called. IRS reached out about that Cayman transfer. They want her to explain it by next week. Caleb thanked her, adding to his notebook, "IRS closing in. Leave from work." He didn't celebrate. Samantha's downfall wasn't joy, it was justice, slow and heavy. Caleb's silence grew heavier. Friends messaged, some siding with Samantha. "Give her a chance, man." Others suspicious. "What's with her posts? Spill it." He ignored them all. His Instagram stayed cryptic, a photo of his coffee mug steam curling captioned, "Cold mornings, clear head." Samantha saw it, according to a mutual friend, and raged to Tara about his mind games. Caleb didn't care. Her anger, her tears, her lies, they were hers to carry. On day 15, a final email arrived. "Caleb, I'm begging. I'll lose my job, my credit, everything. You win, okay? Just talk to me. I'll fix it. I love you." The "I love you" felt like a slap, hollow after her laughter, her secrets, Ryan's jacket. Caleb saved it, wrote, "She says love means nothing." He closed the laptop, the ring footage still showing her car, untouched, in the driveway. The fire in his chest burned steady, not wild but focused. Samantha was sinking, and he'd let her. No rescue, no words, just the weight of her choices. His notebook waited, ready for whatever came next. Day 16 cast a gray pall over Waterloo, the clouds low and heavy, mirroring the weight in Caleb's chest. His notebook, now thick with betrayal, Cayman's 5K, Ryan's jacket, IRS audit, sat open on Derek's coffee table, its pages a map of Samantha's lies. Her last email, "I love you," hollow and desperate, had landed like a stone, stirring nothing but disdain. Friends' messages piled up, some begging him to hear her out, others fishing for gossip. Caleb's silence, unbroken since he left Tara's apartment, was a fortress, but cracks were forming. Samantha's unraveling, job loss, frozen accounts, Ryan's exit, pushed her closer to his orbit. Today he'd face the choice: meet her, hear her truth, or keep the distance that had become his power. At noon, Caleb drove to a Walmart in Cedar Falls to buy a burner phone, tired of dodging Samantha's calls to his new number. The parking lot buzzed with small-town life, moms unloading groceries, teens loitering by a pickup. He felt exposed, a stranger in his own world. Back at Derek's, he powered on the burner, texting Jenny, If Sam asks, I'm out of state. Don't want her showing up. Jenny replied, she's spiraling. Showed up at work drunk yesterday, begging to keep her job. HR sent her home. Caleb's stomach twisted, not pity, but the ache of a life he'd once loved rotting away. He wrote in his notebook, drunk at work, HR done. Samantha's desperation took a bolder turn. That afternoon, Derek called from his auto shop. Heads up, man. Tara just swung by asking where you're staying. Said Sam's losing it and needs to see you. Caleb's jaw tightened. Tara, Samantha's shadow, sniffing around. He thanked Derek, then checked the Ring camera app. At 2 p.m., a car pulled into their old driveway, not Samantha's sedan, still dead from his battery trick, but Tara's red SUV. Samantha stepped out, eyes puffy, scanning the house. She tried the garage keypad, set me up nice, failed, and kicked the door, shouting. Tara pulled her back, but not before Samantha left a note taped to the front door. Caleb zoomed in. Caleb, I'm sorry. Please meet me. Coffee shop tomorrow, 10 a.m. I'll wait. He saved the footage, noting, note at door. Coffee shop plea. The pressure to meet her grew. Mark, his high school buddy, texted, Sam's telling people you're dodging her to hurt her. I know you're pissed, but maybe talk? Closure's good, man. Even Jenny, loyal but soft-hearted, added, she looks broken, Caleb. One convo might end this. Caleb stared at the texts, the burner phone cold in his hand. Closure. Samantha didn't want closure. She wanted control, a way to spin her story. Her lies, life insurance, Ryan, $15K cash, weren't confessions. They were traps. He wrote, friends pushing, no closure, her mess. That evening, a twist hit. Jenny forwarded a group chat screenshot from hospital staff where Tara had spilled. Sam's broke because Caleb froze everything. He's cruel. But Lisa, the co-worker who'd questioned Samantha's Facebook rant, replied, Tara, you knew about her shady accounts and that Ryan guy. Why cover for her? Caleb's pulse raced. Tara knew about Ryan, the Cayman money? He saved the screenshot, writing, Tara complicit, knew Ryan accounts. The betrayal wasn't just Samantha's, it was a circle, with Tara as her enabler. He texted Jenny, keep me posted on Tara, don't trust her. Samantha's public meltdown came that night. A Cedar Falls dive bar, the Rusty Nail, was abuzz with gossip. Per Mark's update, Sam was here, hammered, crying to anyone who'd listen. Said you stole her life. Tara dragged her out after she threw a glass. Caleb checked Instagram. Samantha's story showed a blurry bar photo captioned, betrayed by everyone. Tara's comment, we'll get through, babe. But Lisa, bold now, posted a public reply. Sam, own your shit. Stop blaming Caleb. The town was turning, and Caleb hadn't lifted a finger. He noted, bar meltdown. Lisa calls her out. By day 17, Caleb weighed the coffee shop meeting. He drove to the Waterloo Park, the Iowa wind sharp, and sat on a bench, notebook open. Meeting her could mean answers, Ryan's role, the Cayman money's source, but it risked giving her a stage. Her emails, her note, her drunken pleas, they weren't remorse, just survival. He called Derek, voice low. She wants coffee tomorrow. Should I go? Derek snorted. She's playing you, man. You show up, she'll twist it, stay gone. Caleb nodded, writing, Derek says no, she twists. He decided, no meeting. He texted Jenny from the burner, not going. Tell her I'm done talking. Jenny replied, I'll pass it on. She's at Tara's now crying about the IRS letter, it's bad. Caleb checked the bank app. Samantha had tried logging into his new account, locked out after 3 failed attempts. Linda emailed, IRS set a meeting with her Monday. She didn't show for the first notice. Caleb noted, IRS meeting Monday. She's dodging. That night, Samantha emailed again, frantic. Caleb, I saw your truck in Waterloo. I know you're here. I'm at the coffee shop tomorrow, 10 a.m. I'll wait all day. I'm sorry for everything. Ryan was a mistake. The money was stupid. I love you. The I love you was a knife, dull and rusted. Caleb saved it, writing, Truck spotted. Still lies. No meat. He posted an Instagram story, a photo of the park's empty bench, captioned, "Space clears the mind." Friends messaged, confused. Samantha's followers, per Mark, whispered about his games. Caleb didn't care. On day 18, Jenny texted. Sam waited at the coffee shop till noon. Left crying. Tara's telling everyone you're heartless. Caleb didn't flinch. Samantha's tears, Tara's spin, the town's gossip, they were noise. His silence was signal, cutting through her chaos. The notebook grew heavier, each entry. Tara's betrayal, bar meltdown, IRS dodge, a brick in the wall between them. The fire in his chest burned hotter, not for revenge but for freedom. He wasn't just keeping distance, he was building a new life, one where Samantha's lies couldn't reach. Day 19 rose with a brittle dawn, the Waterloo sky streaked with pink. But Caleb's mind was a storm. Ryan's text from the burner phone, "Caleb, it's Ryan. We need to talk about Sam," had burned through his sleep, a spark threatening his fortress of silence. His notebook, heavy with Samantha's sins, Cayman's 5K, Ryan's jacket, drunk meltdown, lay open, its final pages waiting for closure. Samantha's last email, "I love you," her coffee shop vigil, and Tara's betrayal in the group chat had pushed Caleb to the edge. He'd dodged her pleas, watched her world crumble, job lost, IRS closing in. But Ryan's message was a loose end he couldn't ignore. Today he'd meet Ryan, uncover the last of Samantha's lies, and decide his path. Divorce, exposure, or a colder cut. Caleb texted Ryan from the burner at 8 a.m. "Diner on Main, Cedar Falls, 10 a.m. Don't bring her." Ryan replied instantly, "I'll be there, alone." Caleb drove early, parking his truck across from the diner, a faded relic with neon signs and greasy booths. He wore a plain hoodie, his notebook tucked inside, and sat in a corner booth, eyes on the door. At 10:02, Ryan walked in. Tall, slick hair, the same black leather jacket from their house. Caleb's grip tightened on his coffee mug, but his face stayed stone. Ryan slid into the booth, hands raised. "I'm not here to fight, man. You deserve the truth." Ryan's story spilled fast. He'd met Samantha at Tara's parties, drawn to her charm but wary of her big plans. 6 months ago, she pitched him a side hustle, funneling money through a Cayman account for a crypto deal with a guy Tara knew. Ryan invested $3,000. Samantha handled the transfers, promising a 50% cut. The deal tanked, the guy vanished, and Samantha ghosted Ryan, claiming Caleb's control froze her funds. The $200 Zelle was Ryan's last gesture, not for her car, but to cut ties. "She played me," Ryan said, eyes hard. "Tara egged her on, said you'd never notice." Caleb's jaw clenched. The $5,000 Cayman transfer wasn't just Samantha's, it was a scam, with Tara complicit. He wrote, "Ryan, crypto scam, 3K, Tara pushed, Sam lied." Ryan slid a USB across the table. "Bank records, texts with Sam, it's all there. Use it if you need to." Caleb pocketed it without a word, his mind racing. Samantha hadn't just betrayed him. She'd built a house of cards, roping in Ryan, Tara, and some phantom hustler. He asked, voice low, "Was it more than money?" Ryan shook his head. "No affair. She flirted to keep me in, but I'm not that guy." Caleb didn't fully buy it, the Venmo emojis, the bar receipt. But Ryan's fear seemed real. He left the diner noting, "Ryan's USB, no affair maybe." Back at Derek's, Caleb plugged the USB into his laptop. It held screenshots, Samantha's texts to Ryan, Caleb's clueless, "We're good," bank transfers, and a Cayman account statement with $8,000, not $5,000, moved last year. The extra $3,000 was Ryan's, funneled through Tara's PayPal. Caleb's blood boiled. Samantha hadn't just hidden money. She'd orchestrated a fraud, using his trust as cover. He called Paul, the financial advisor, who reviewed the files and whistled. "This is felony territory, Caleb. Wire fraud, maybe tax evasion. You want to go legal?" Caleb paused. "Not yet, but draft divorce papers." Paul agreed, sending a draft by evening. Caleb noted, "Felony fraud, divorce drafted." Samantha's final stand came that afternoon. Jenny texted, "Sam's at your old house, screaming in the yard, neighbors watching." Caleb checked the Ring camera. Samantha, disheveled, stood on the lawn yelling his name, a bottle in hand. Mrs. Carter, the neighbor, called the cops, who escorted Samantha away. Lisa posted on Facebook, "Saw Sam get picked up by police. Girls lost it." Tara commented, "She's hurting. Back off." But the tide had turned. Friends unfollowed Samantha, her posts ignored. Caleb wrote, "Yard meltdown. Cops called." That night, Samantha emailed, her words a raw collapse. "Caleb, I know you met Ryan. I screwed up. Crypto was dumb. I was desperate. I never wanted you dead, I swear. I'm in a motel. IRS is coming. I've got nothing. Please, one call. I'll sign anything." Caleb read it, searching for truth. The crypto admission matched Ryan's story, but her desperate plea rang false. She'd planned this for years. He saved the email, writing, "Admits crypto, still no remorse." Derek, nursing a beer, watched Caleb sign the divorce papers. "You're really done, huh?" Caleb nodded. "She's not my problem anymore." He mailed the papers to Samantha's motel, care of Paul, with a note. "Sign and send back. No meeting. No calls." He didn't want her in jail. That was the IRS's job. But he wanted her out of his life. The USB with Ryan's files and his own screenshots went to Paul for safekeeping, a weapon if she fought back. On day 20, Caleb drove to the Waterloo Park, the notebook lighter now. He posted a final Instagram story, a sunrise over the Cedar River, captioned, "New day, clean slate." Friends messaged support. Samantha's account went private, her last post a vague, "Starting over." Tara unfollowed Caleb. Lisa messaged him, "You did what you had to." The town's gossip faded, replaced by whispers of Samantha's motel stay and IRS woes. Caleb's decision was final. No confrontation, no forgiveness, just freedom. The fire in his chest, once fueled by pain, now warmed a new path. He wasn't the clingy husband or the clueless Mark Samantha had painted. He was Caleb, whole again with a life to rebuild. The notebook closed, its story done, but his was just beginning. Day 21 dawned sharp and clear, the Waterloo sun cutting through the morning mist, a mirror to Caleb's newfound clarity. His notebook, once a ledger of Samantha's betrayals, Cayman's scam, Ryan's USB, yard meltdown, now rested in a drawer at Derek's, its purpose served. The divorce papers, mailed to Samantha's motel with a curt note, "Sign and send back," marked the final severing of their shared life. Her world had collapsed, job gone, IRS looming, friends turning away, while Caleb stood on the cusp of renewal. Today, he'd watch her surrender through the lens of his silence and take his first steps into a life unburdened by her lies. At 9 a.m., Paul, the financial advisor, called. "Samantha signed the papers. Got them from the motel clerk this morning. She included a letter, but I haven't opened it. Want me to send it?" Caleb's chest tightened, not from longing, but from the weight of what her words might hold. "Scan it first," he said. "I'll decide later." Paul emailed the scan by noon. A single page, Samantha's handwriting shaky. "Caleb, I signed. I'm sorry for the money, Ryan, everything. I was selfish, not evil. I'm leaving Cedar Falls. Good luck. No, I love you. No, please. Just a hollow apology." Caleb saved it to his USB, writing in a new journal, signed, "Letter, she's leaving. Done." Samantha's surrender wasn't quiet. Jenny texted, "Sam checked out of the motel, looked like a ghost. Tara was with her, loading a beat-up suitcase into a rental car." Lisa, now a vocal ally, posted on Facebook, "Heard Sam's skipping town. IRS is still after her. Karma's real." Comments piled up, some pitying, others scathing. Tara stayed silent, her Instagram dormant since unfollowing Caleb. The Ring camera, still active, caught Samantha's final visit to their old house at dawn. She stood on the porch, staring at the door, then left a key in the mailbox. No note, no scene. Caleb noted, "Motel checkout. House key dropped. She's gone. Then came the twist. Paul called again at 2 p.m. IRS contacted me about your joint accounts. They traced another $10,000 from Samantha's crypto scam, funneled through a shell company, not just the Caymans. They're building a case. Wire fraud, tax evasion, maybe more. You're clear, but she's in deep. Caleb's breath caught. The $8,000 from Ryan's USB was only part of it. Samantha's side hustle was a web, entangling others beyond Tara. He didn't gloat. Her ruin wasn't his victory. It was her consequence. He wrote, IRS. 10K more. Shell company. She's trapped. Caleb's new chapter began that afternoon. He met Derek at the auto shop, where a co-worker, Mike, offered him a lead. A mechanic job in Des Moines. Better pay. Fresh crew. Caleb applied via LinkedIn, his profile updated with skills honed over years. ASE certified, diagnostics, heavy-duty repair. By evening, the shop called for an interview next week. Derek clapped his shoulder. You're getting out, man. Clean break. Caleb nodded, a flicker of hope warming the fire in his chest. He journaled, Des Moines job lead, interview set. He drove to a Waterloo apartment complex, a modest one-bedroom he'd scouted online. The landlord, a gruff retiree, handed over the keys after a quick credit check. Move in tomorrow if you want, he said. Caleb walked the empty space. Bare walls, clean carpet, a view of the Cedar River. It wasn't home yet, but it was his. He moved his clothes and toolbox from Derek's that night, the Springsteen vinyls stacked neatly on a shelf. Journal entry. Apartment leased. Mine. The town's gossip shifted. Mark texted, Sam's gone, man. People say she's couch surfing in Davenport. You good? Caleb replied, better than good. Lisa messaged, proud of you, Caleb. She didn't break you. He didn't respond, but her words settled like a bomb. Samantha's final Instagram post, before her account vanished, was a gray highway photo, captioned, Gone for good. No likes, no comments. Cedar Falls was letting her fade. On day 22, Caleb visited the Waterloo Park, the sunrise glinting off the river. He didn't open Samantha's letter again. Its weight was gone, like the notebook now tucked away. Paul emailed, IRS wants to interview Samantha next month. She's not responding. Your divorce is filed. Clean split. Caleb journaled, divorce filed. IRS hunts her. I'm free. He posted an Instagram story, a shot of his new apartment's window, river sparkling, captioned, First morning, new view. Friends flooded it with likes. Derek commented, Hell yeah, brother. That evening, Caleb sat on his balcony, a beer in hand, Springsteen's Born to Run playing low. The fire in his chest, once a blaze of betrayal, was now a steady glow. Hope, not pain. Samantha's lies, Ryan's scam, Tara's complicity. They were shadows, receding with each step he took. He wasn't just surviving, he was building. A job interview, a new home, a clean slate. His story wasn't over, it was rewriting itself. As the river gleamed below, Caleb journaled one last line. Day 1. My life. Day 23 broke with a restless energy, the Waterloo sky alive with clouds racing over the Cedar River, echoing the momentum building in Caleb's life. His old notebook, a tomb of Samantha's betrayals, Cayman scam, Ryan's USB, IRS chase, remained locked in Derek's drawer, replaced by a new journal charting his ascent. Apartment leased, Des Moines interview. Samantha's signed divorce papers and her departure from Cedar Falls had closed a chapter, her IRS troubles a distant echo. Today, Caleb would face the results of his Des Moines job interview, while whispers of Samantha's final fate began to surface, tying the last knots of their tangled story. At 8 a.m., Caleb checked his email in his new apartment, the Cedar River glinting through the window. A message from the Des Moines shop, Midwest Fleet Repair, waited. Caleb, we're impressed with your experience. Job's yours if you want it. Lead mechanic, 35 HR, benefits. Start Monday. His pulse quickened, not with fear, but with possibility. He called Derek, voice steady. Got the job. Des Moines, lead role. Derek whooped. Man, you're killing it. When you moving? Caleb grinned, a rare lightness in his chest. Next week. Gotta pack. He journaled. Job offer. Lead mechanic Des Moines. Start Monday. He drove to the auto shop to thank Mike for the lead, the Waterloo air crisp. Mike shook his hand. Knew you'd nail it, Caleb. You're too good for this town. The words landed deep, a balm for years of Samantha's dismissive jabs. You were just a grease monkey. Back at the apartment, Caleb updated his LinkedIn. Excited to join Midwest Fleet Repair as lead mechanic. New chapter, new roads. Friends flooded the post with likes. Lisa commented, Cedar Falls loss, Des Moines gain. Even Mark, once neutral, texted, Proud of you, man. You're unstoppable. Caleb journaled, Mike's thanks. LinkedIn updated. Community lifts. Samantha's fate, meanwhile, took a darker turn. At noon, Paul emailed. IRS escalated Samantha's case. They issued a warrant for her arrest, wire fraud, tax evasion, $18K total across 2 shell companies. She's not in Davenport. No one knows where she is. Caleb's stomach twisted, not with pity but with the surreal weight of her collapse. The $10,000 from Paul's last call had grown. Her crypto hustle, a house of cards, now fully toppled. Jenny texted, Heard from a hospital friend. Sam's aunt in Chicago said she has gone off-grid. No phone, no contact. Caleb journaled, IRS warrant, $18K, fraud, Sam's missing. The twist came that afternoon. A voicemail appeared on Caleb's burner phone, left at 3 a.m. from an unknown number. Samantha's voice, hoarse and fractured. Caleb, it's me. I'm not running, but I can't stay. The IRS. I messed up bad. I never hated you. I hated me. Don't look for me. No tears, no pleas, just a ghost signing off. Caleb played it twice, searching for lies. There were none, only defeat. He saved it to his USB, journaling, Sam's voicemail, admits mess, gone for good. He didn't reply. Her words, like her letter, were hers to carry, not his to hold. Cedar Falls buzzed with the news. Lisa posted on Facebook, Samantha's wanted by the IRS, skipped town, no trace, justice served. Comments raged, some shocked, others smug. Tara, silent for days, deleted her account, her role in the scam now whispered in bars like the rusty nail. Mark texted, Town's losing it over Sam. You holding up? Caleb replied, I'm past it. He meant it. The Ring camera, disconnected now, no longer watched an empty house. The Wi-Fi, Life Insurance Dreams 2025, and Garage Code, Set Me Up Nice, were changed by the new tenant. Samantha's shadow was gone. On day 24, Caleb packed his apartment, the Springsteen vinyls carefully boxed. Derek helped, cracking jokes about Des Moines' big city vibe. You'll be back for beers, right? Derek asked. Caleb nodded. Always. He drove to the Waterloo Park one last time, the river a silver thread under the morning sun. His journal entry was brief. Packing done, last park visit, ready. He posted an Instagram story, a shot of his truck, toolbox loaded, captioned, Chasing New Horizons. Friends flooded it with support. Lisa wrote, Go conquer, Caleb. By day 25, Caleb was in Des Moines, his new apartment a small but sturdy space near the shop. The first day at Midwest Fleet Repair was a blur, diagnosing a semi's engine, mentoring a young tech, earning nods from the crew. His journal read, First day, solid, team's good, I fit. That night, Paul called with a final update. Samantha's aunt got a postcard, no return address. Says she's safe, but won't come back. IRS is closing in, but she's a ghost. Caleb journaled, Sam's postcard, still running. I'm done. Caleb's life was his own now. The fire in his chest, once a blaze of pain, was a beacon, steady, guiding him forward. Samantha's lies, Ryan's scam, Tara's betrayal. They were footnotes in a story he no longer read. At the Des Moines shop, he was Caleb, the lead mechanic, not Samantha's ex. His new crew invited him to a local bar where laughter replaced the weight of Cedar Falls gossip. His final journal entry for the week, Day 5 in Des Moines. Work, friends, freedom. This is me. As he looked out his apartment window, the city lights flickering, Caleb knew the road ahead was his to shape. No shadows, no regrets. Just a man rebuilding his life. Day 30 shimmered with the promise of summer, the Des Moines skyline glowing under a vast Iowa sky. A canvas for Caleb's new life. His journal, a fresh ledger of triumphs, lead mechanic, Des Moines apartment, community respect, sat open on his kitchen counter, the old notebook of Samantha's betrayals now a relic in Derek's attic. The divorce was finalized. Her IRS warrant, $18K fraud, shell companies, a fading headline in Cedar Falls. Caleb had built a fortress of purpose in Des Moines, his days filled with engine diagnostics and crew banter at Midwest Fleet Repair. Today, 6 weeks after leaving Waterloo, he'd cement his future, while Samantha's final chapter, whispered in news and rumors, would close with stark justice. At 7 a.m., Caleb arrived at the shop, his toolbox gleaming, greeted by nods from his team. His first month as lead mechanic had earned him a reputation, steady, sharp, fair. The shop manager, Carla, pulled him aside. "Caleb, we're putting you on the training program, mentor new techs. There's a raise in it, 38 HR. His chest swelled, not with pride but gratitude. He texted Derek, "Got a raise, mentoring now. Life's good." Derek replied, "Knew you'd own this, brother." Caleb journaled, "Raise to 38 HR, training role, shop trusts me." That afternoon, a community BBQ at the shop's lot sealed his place in Des Moines. Techs, their families, and locals mingled, ribs sizzling, Springsteen's Thunder Road blasting from a speaker. A young tech, Joey, thanked Caleb for a tip on diesel diagnostics. "You make this job make sense, man," Joey said. Lisa, visiting from Cedar Falls, raised a beer. To Caleb, who rebuilt from ashes, the crowd cheered, and Caleb smiled, the fire in his chest a warm beacon. He journaled, "BBQ Team Bonds, I belong." His Instagram post, a shot of the grill, crew laughing, captioned, "Family found," drew likes from Waterloo friends, Mark commenting, "You're home, man." Samantha's end came into focus that evening. Paul called, voice clipped. IRS caught Samantha, arrested in Omaha last night, trying to cross into Canada. They recovered $15K of the $18K, tied to a third shell company. She's facing 5 years, maybe more. Caleb stood on his balcony, the city lights flickering, processing the news. Her voicemail, "I hated me," echoed faintly, but her arrest wasn't his victory. It was her reckoning. Jenny texted, "Saw it on the news. Sam's mugshots everywhere. Cedar Falls is done with her." Lisa posted on Facebook, "Samantha's in cuffs. Lied, scammed, lost. Caleb's the real winner." Comments piled up, the town's scorn now a chorus. Caleb journaled, "Sam arrested, Omaha, 5 years, it's over." Then came the twist. Paul emailed a scanned document from the IRS, a frozen account, $3,000, linked to their old joint mortgage, hidden in Samantha's scam network. It was Caleb's money, funneled years ago without his knowledge, now returned. "You can claim it," Paul wrote. "No strings." Caleb stared at the email, the irony sharp. Samantha's lies, meant to ruin him, had looped back as his gain. He decided to donate it to a local trade school, journaling, $3K from Sam's scam, mine again. Giving it to trade kids. The act felt like cutting the last thread to her chaos. Cedar Falls whispers reached Des Moines. Mark texted, "Town's calling you a legend. Guy who outsmarted a con. Sam's name's Mud." Tara, once her ally, had left Iowa, her role in the scam a stain no one forgot. The Rusty Nails gossip had shifted to Caleb's rise, barflies toasting his escape. Caleb didn't bask in it. Their praise was noise, his peace was signal. He journaled, "Town talks, I don't listen. My life's mine." On day 31, Caleb drove to a Des Moines park, the Raccoon River sparkling under dawn. His journal entry was reflective. 6 weeks since Waterloo. Job, home, crew. I'm whole. He didn't revisit Samantha's voicemail or letter. They were ashes, like her schemes. Paul's final email confirmed, Samantha's trial set for fall. You're fully clear, no ties. Caleb posted a last Instagram story for Cedar Falls, a sunrise over the raccoon, captioned, Built my own road. Derek commented, Proud brother. Lisa wrote, You're unstoppable. The post went viral in Waterloo, a quiet legend born. That night, Caleb hosted his crew at his apartment, pizza boxes and laughter filling the space. Joey, the young tech, asked about Waterloo. Caleb shrugged. Rough past, good lessons. Only forward now. The fire in his chest, once fueled by betrayal, was now a hearth, steady, warming a life he'd forged. Samantha's arrest, her scams, her flight, they were ghosts, powerless against his present. His final journal entry read, Day 31, Work, Friends, Peace. I'm Caleb, and this is my story. As the city hummed below, Caleb looked to the horizon. No shadows left, only light. A man not just rebuilt, but redefined.